to be honest. It's painful to watch it because we were so close. I really think that we were so close a decade ago to fixing this, but no one would listen.
Many parents of autistic children have established their own treatments.
Andrew is now 19 years old. It's hard to believe that it's been that many years. I do think that it's a war in Andrew's intestinal tract. There is a colony of, I believe, neurotoxin-producing bacteria that established itself and set up camp and set it up good and strong and at an early age. And basically what you become colonized with as a child, those are the bacteria you die with.
Ellen Bolte has found that by giving Andrew massive amounts of probiotics, supplements containing benign bacteria, his symptoms are controlled. The thinking is that even if his Clostridia can't be eradicated, they can be beaten back with waves of competing bacteria.
He functions very well, and that's a relative term. When I compare us to our baseline, I'm very happy with what he can do. Andrew is very self-sufficient. He can cook his own breakfast, pack his own lunch. Academically, he struggles beyond, a third or fourth grade level. He still has some very impaired social skills. He is, though, delightful and a joy to be around the house. Andrew, pretty soon you have to go to your track meet. Hey. And what are you going to do at your track meet? Run fast. Run fast.
Studies have shown that our early gut microbes do stay with us for life, but new research might make it possible to change their composition with medical intervention.
This to me is like a golden opportunity to really look and see what might be going on in this situation, where I can sort of see that there's some problems with the gut and problems with development.
Dr. McFabe and his colleague Dr. Emma Allen Verco from the University of Guelph have begun a unique collaboration with the Somali community in Ontario. Joining forces with parents, they've started a study that will analyze fecal samples from Somali-Canadian autistic kids. Dr. Allen Verco hopes it will reveal what's amiss with their bacterial profile.
And also this entire change that the Somali population has when they come from Somalia to Canada, to a completely different country, a different culture, different foods in particular, and hearing the changes that might be happening in the diets that might therefore have some kind of knock-on effect with the bacteria that are within the gut. The old adage, we are what we eat, I think that's very important. In Somalia, they eat a lot of fermented foods, and that's a very staple part of their diets. They wouldn't necessarily do that in Canada.
It's the way we lived, the food we used to eat. No corn, no soy, no genetically modified things, no nothing. Everything is as natural as they can be. No pesticides, no hormones, nothing.
And maybe they have a microbe that's missing now from their diet because they're not getting it from fermented food. And maybe that microbe might have some direct interaction with other microbes in their gut. Now, if that's a missing piece, it's no longer there. Their gut microbiome might actually not be functioning correctly anymore.
Dr. Allen Verco is working on the idea that the ecology of gut bacteria could be medically manipulated.
Over here we have the robogut, which is a very sort of coined phrase for our artificial gut system that we have here. Now here we're able to actually recapitulate the environment of the human gut, which enables us to culture some of the organisms just by growing them with their friends, essentially, as part of an ecosystem.
Dr. Ellen Verco approaches her work as an ecologist, using the roboguts to create whole microbial communities, then manipulating them to see what happens to the stability of the ecosystem.
It's an ecosystem that is incredibly diverse, in fact probably one of the most diverse ecosystems on the face of this planet. And I liken it to a rainforest. Everyone knows what happens when you start stripping species out of an ecosystem like a rainforest. you end up with a barren sort of landscape, and really the ecosystem just kind of crashes. And this is what we think is the kind of the basis for many diseases now.
Dr. Alan Verco thinks there's hope for future medical treatment of bacterial-based autism by replacing flawed microbial ecosystems.
The idea would be that we would get rid of the bad ecosystem with antibiotics, with purging of some kind, and then replace it immediately with a healthy ecosystem that would allow that to establish and to take on the job of a healthy ecosystem.
At the Autism Genome Project in Toronto, Dr. Scherer thinks there's more work to do before connections can be made between the gut and autism.
We may find that in some cases where there's a proportion of autistics that have GI tract problems, they may have specific changes in genes that are common to the brain and the GI tract. That's not surprising to me. In fact, you would expect to see that. What the geneticists really want to do is to catalog all of that data once and for all in one large experiment. It's going to take us a few years to do. And then we can explore all these other hypotheses.
Genetics, industrialized food production, antibiotics, microbes in the gut. All these may be contributing to the rise in autism. Parents pushing the research and the scientists listening to them are attempting to find a unifying mechanism.
It is not the quest to show that propionic acid is the answer. That's vastly oversimplistic. Where I'm really hopeful is you have all these different camps looking at autism. Genetics, behavior, lipids, gut, bugs. Instead of arguing with each other, there may be something common to this that we can work together. Nobody's right or wrong. It's like the blind man and the elephant. We're looking at different parts of these things. And now, in our small way with a model, we have a way to test these things, validate what the patients are seeing, and, again, linking it to a gut bug.
And what's this?
5 minutes.
Yeah,
Cool down.
that's your cool down.
Opposite of exhausted is.
Opposite of exhausted is have energy.
Have energy means.
Can keep going. What's this up here?
Distance.
Yeah, that's how many miles you're running, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you ran 345 miles, honey.
Okay.
But it looks good. I cling to the hope that research is going to be done in time and that he'll be able to receive treatment and that he will be able to still respond due to plasticity of the brain. Who's to say? And I realize it's hypothetical, but hypothetically speaking, if he is being bombarded by a neurotoxin, if you stop that neurotoxin, he'll do nothing but get better.
Hope of improvement and even recovery is unshakable in other parents too.
And they really have a GI issue. And when you have a gut problem, nothing else is going to work. I would love to hear his voice. That's the most important thing. He understands more now. He understands everything you tell him, but he can't say the words. So that's one of the biggest for me, to see, Alice speak and call me mom one day.
Laurie Mollum of Autism Canada says that a majority of parents report that their child improves when changes are made to their diet.
So why would what you eat affect your brain and your autistic symptoms? Well, the truth of the matter, it does. And because it does, we have to understand why it does, and that's why we need research in the gut brain, and that's why it's the most promising research that's going on out there.
Until fairly recently, we assumed that, or we just didn't really give the gut microbiota any thought whatsoever. And we just thought of it, we knew that the bugs were there, but we thought that they were just benignly there because they ate the waste products that we couldn't eat, and so why not? The finding that they're actually there and they're important and they're doing something that is contributing to health is a fairly new realization. We're really at the dawn of realizing that.
I am